Hello and welcome. My name is Anastasia Zatula, and let's talk today about jealousy. As you know, I'm a Reiki master, NLP master, and I believe that there is an energetic explanation for everything in our world, and obviously energy and mind explanation. Now, I love to work with energy, I love to manipulate energy, I love to see how people's lives change when you work with energy. I also love when my clients develop femininity, when they become more feminine, more empowered, more stronger. Now let's talk about jealousy. Jealousy is a feeling that's present in many people, unfortunately, and when I look at them I feel kind of sad. The reason why I decided to record this video is because a couple days ago I was exposed kind of to this couple, a jealous fit I don't know, a lady was so unhappy with her man because he was flirting with the waitress. I'm in Mexico, so I don't unfortunately speak Spanish, so I couldn't understand, but the little briefs that they were thrown in English, I understood. I understood that she was unhappy, and unfortunately they decided to have this display of of a fight in front of everybody. Now, I frankly felt only sad for her because I know how she's suffering inside if she feels so insecure with somebody so outside their life. It was just a waitress, and I know her because I go to that cafe often, and I know that she's just friendly with everybody. She was not really flirting, but I know that the woman that felt that pain didn't think like this, and that pain was inside of her. It was just triggered by another person. So let's talk about jealousy. I would want you all to get rid of it and never have it again. Now, I briefly mentioned jealousy in another video. If you didn't watch that video, please do. Healing destructive feelings, I think I'll put it in the description of this one. Please do watch it. That one is very important too, because maybe you really don't have jealousy, maybe you have envy or some other feeling like this. These are different, they have different backgrounds, different kind of grounds, and different triggers. So please do watch that video as well. But I always wanted to make a video on jealousy because it is a very deep feeling, and usually we cope with it in the wrong way. Usually, if you feel jealous towards your man, you start protecting your space, you start fighting your imaginary enemies instead of actually healing yourself inside, so this would not happen to you again. If you're in the situations where you're constantly jealous, when your man is provoking you to be jealous, when you're feeling unconfident with the man, this is just an indicator that you need to work on that. You will always have these situations coming up. Even if the man will never leave the house, you will still find reason to be jealous about. It's really just showing you that you need to heal. This is the feeling that I also was a victim of. I was jealous, and I think I was jealous since childhood, and I will explain you why. Now, and when I was jealous, honestly, even the man that I would think, I mean, really, you, how could you cheat on me? Even those men gave me a reason to be somewhat suspicious and to be jealous. Now since I worked on this and I don't have this feeling within me any longer, man that I would think would have a reason to date others, to cheat, to be exposed to other women. They're super faithful. Like just a couple of weeks ago, I was sending a happy Christmas or something like that to a guy. I'm Orthodox, so we celebrate Christmas in January. And he was like, when are you coming back? I'm like, why? And he's like, well, I'm waiting for you. And I said, I told him, I thought you already married. And he's like, no, I'm waiting for you. I wanted to tell him get a lie, but honestly, I was just like, you see, Anastasia, it all worked. Even now, men are so, I do not expect him. He's just somebody I know and admire. And I don't obviously expect him to be faithful, but they are, because I don't have this issue with jealousy no more. And I want you to get to this point too, you see? So let's get into that. Now, if you think right now that your sense of not being jealous depends on a man, you're wrong. And I hope I will show you the depths of this emotion, so you will stop blaming your man for your insecurities. Now, I thought that it would depend on the man too. I always thought that, if I would have a different man, a man with integrity, a man with different kind of maybe background, or maybe a different kind of upbringing, he would not be he would not make me feel like this. It was all wrong. All men from different backgrounds, with different social status, with different material status, always made me being jealous, and not necessarily jealous towards other women, but jealous to their family. They were more attentive to their families, or jealous even towards their hobbies or their friends, to anything else. And I always blamed them. I thought how insensitive they are about how I feel. Instead, I was actually, the problem was in me. And once I fixed it, obviously right now I'm not jealous to anything, and men don't make me feel any kind of jealous. Now, where does it come from? So jealousy comes from childhood, and usually it happens when you are not the only child, when you have like when there are a few siblings, when parents are not very attentive. So what usually happens? Your mom doesn't show much love to you or your siblings, and you believe that you need to fight for some kind of love, because your mom only give you like little crumbs of love for different reasons. Maybe she was just not very, expressive or emotional herself. Maybe she doesn't even know what love is, and she was giving you little, and because you were not getting too much, you were constantly looking, are my siblings getting more? Are we all like even? Does everybody get equally? Maybe they get a little more or something. So, or it could also be when your father doesn't provide enough security. Usually it's mother's love though, but could be also with the security. So for example, your father has a limited amount of money, let's say, and he's given you and your siblings a particular amount of money, and you know that he doesn't have that much, so you're afraid that your siblings will grab more and there will be not enough for you. So it's always fight for the limited resources, always like this, a fight for limited resources. Usually it's a love of mother, not a love of father. Father provides security. So it's like this. So for example, in my situation, my family was and is amazing. So my parents I never had like my parents were faithful to each other. They were obviously faithful to us. I have a brother and sister with the same father, the same mother. I mean, we all lived together, we all had family, but yet I was jealous since birthday, not birthday, but since childhood. Why? Because I had two younger siblings, which I love very, very much. I care for them very, very much, and I'm very happy that I have them. But my parents are energy of air, so they're not very emotional. My mom, she loves us very much, but she was not really showing that much love, especially because they had their own kind of life going on. They had their social circles, they had their friends, and they had a huge we had a huge garden and like a farm. So my parents were occupied. They didn't had really time, and kind of it was not a habit to smother your kids with love. So I was basically, maybe if I would get some kind of love from my parents, it was like a expression of love. It was really rare, and I guess I was maybe unconsciously was fighting for that share of love that my parents were given. Technically, I was even pushing my parents to give more of this love to my siblings, because maybe I was not getting enough myself. So when I grew up, I was jealous of man, and I was not jealous particularly of a woman, but of something that might take his attention or his security from me. So for example, if a man is spending more time with his family, so for example he has sisters, brothers, and not as much with me, I would be jealous. So if he would be more like happier with them, enjoy himself with them more, I would be also jealous. Obviously with women too, but women were kind of come and go, but family is staying. So I was really jealous of the immediate family. I never really dated men with kids, or I dated, but then the kids were not a problem. I wouldn't know, but I know women that are jealous even of his kids. Now, I understood why it was, because I was jealous of immediate family, not of the outsiders, but of immediate family. Now, you probably had the same thing. For example, if you are with the man and the man is providing for you, let's imagine you don't work and the man is providing for you, he's giving you security like your father was. Now you're afraid if somebody will come in, take your man, and with the man will go your security. What are you going to do? So you basically fighting imaginary enemies that could take something that you believe should be yours. Or for example, your man gives you he gives you pleasure, he gives you love, you believe that you could be only happy with him, right? And now you are afraid that some imaginary woman will come and take this little crumbs that you're receiving from a man. And this is basically this is not right. So how to heal this? You obviously need to do something about it, because you could not live like this. If you think that, okay, so this man is pushing me to be jealous, I will change the man, another man will be better. It won't be. You will probably a couple months and then you will start being jealous about this man. It's always like this. This is a wound inside, that wound that needs to heal, and that's it. Trust me, I changed so many men until I started working with myself, until I got to the energy work and the NLP, and only when I developed my femininity, only when I got really deep into energy, only then I was able to heal it. And after that, every man I meet suddenly very faithful, doesn't give a reason, even though this man that I'm dating now should give me a reason, because they have the money, they have the looks, they are successful, they are confident, this is strong, successful man. They have women that could be looking at them, and yet they don't give a reason. Why? Because they really don't have it in me no more. So what to do? The first thing, before I will start with the steps, remember that you are not a kid that needs your mom's love or your father's security. You are grown up. And the second thing, remember, nobody owes you nothing. So your man is not supposed to give you love or supposed to give you security. I will get into this deeper, but these two things you need to remember and just write them inside your head. So the first thing you need to do, you need to heal your inner child. I will be talking about this all the time, because all the wounds that come from childhood need to be addressed, and this is through healing your inner child. Now, to heal your inner child, you can do my meditation. I'm going to put it also in the description, or you can do somehow else, but that child is wounded. And that child needs to be healed. It's not like you have this child inside of you. It's an energetic, basically, part of you, and that part has to be healed. It's hurt since childhood. Can you imagine? So it needs to take. I'm not going to go deep in that. I always talk about this. The second one, you need to rewrite your childhood. You need to find the proof, strong proof, that your mom was always giving you love, and that your father was always giving you security. For example, I was not really afraid that somebody will come and take my man's love from me. I was always somewhat worried that somebody will take my man's resources from me. Why? Because my parents were energy of air, so they didn't much care for material stuff like that. Now, they had obviously we had a beautiful house, a big farm. I mean, we lived good. I don't remember the time, even when the country collapsed kind of around us, we still were always good. We never technically struggled too much, but because it was not a priority for them, I mean, it never was emphasized, and I was worried. I was worried about my own future. Why? Because my parents really never engraved in me that everything will be fine. You don't need to worry about this, kind of like that. You see? So I was. So you need to rewrite it. I rewrote it for myself. You need to rewrite it for you. Also with your mom. If you didn't get enough love from your mom, you need to rewrite it to the point where you remember, yeah, my mom gave me a lot of love. How it looked for me. Well, first of all, my parents, as much as they didn't care about the material stuff, I mean, they had a really nice house that was paid off. They had a really nice farm that was bringing, well, not like a farm, but like little something that was bringing money. They had, obviously, each of them had a job that was bringing money. So we were always good. I showed that my father provided for me, not only my father, my grandfather as well. They provided this security for us. Yes, I lost my father early. My mom had to struggle a little bit, but for the most part, I was set. I was always secure. I just needed to show it to myself that it was. I shouldn't have taken it for granted as I was. Now, when it comes to my mom's love, I proved myself that my mom loved me very much. Yes, maybe she was not very expressive of her love, but she did, and she does love me and my brother and my sister very, very much. I mean, it's shown in her actions, in her attention, you know, in her faith in me, in her loyalty to, like, in everything. You see, I proved myself through. So I went into my childhood and I basically found the situations where I know my mom loved me very, very much. So it wasn't just crumbs, it was a full kind of huge love that I received. I convinced my mind that I had both security and love, and I have it in me till now. And so I don't need it really from nobody. Okay, so if the man wants to give his love to somebody else, that's fine, you know, give it and out. I was not scared of imaginary enemies any longer, because I don't depend on him for this stuff anymore. You would need to do this. If you believe that you can just drop your parents, forget about them, and kind of move on with your life and just find a man who will give it to you, you will never be. Your parents are your roots. You can avoid them as much as you can, but you will return and return and return to these problems until you finally will face them and address them. Do it now. You know, it would be much easier to address it with your parents, even if you don't do it like energetically. You see, I didn't ask my mom, do you love me really? I basically convinced myself that she loves me, and that's it. And then I started seeing the proof. I'm like, yeah, she does love me very, very much. And she loves my sister and she loves my brother, and this is just amazing. We're all loved. So you need to do this. The third thing that you need to do, you need to stop comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others is a very, very masculine thing. No. It's a very masculine thing. This usually happens with women that are masculine. Now, because they're masculine, they think, let me compare. They need to do actions, right, to protect their kind of property. So they feel like, let me compare myself to other women, make myself better than those other women, and then the man will choose me. If you are comparing yourself to others, you will always lose. Always. You know why? Because energetically, you already told your mind. If you're comparing yourself to others, you already told your energetic mind that you're not good enough. You see, only a person who, if you do not compare yourself, you know that you're good enough. When you're comparing yourself, you're basically telling, you see, I put it, comparing is a mind game. And if you compare yourself, you state that you doubt yourself. So if you're doubting yourself, you're already not as good as that other person. You must understand that. Never ever compare yourself. Or if you compare, as I told in the last video, like on a high. So for example, I am a beautiful brunette, a little curvy brunette, and you know, the other girl is a beautiful blonde. You know, we're different, but we're both kind of beautiful. And my man chose me, so I assume he loves brunettes, so I assume he loves my freckles or something. So I don't need to compare myself to all these imaginary enemies. I basically need to accept myself for the ideal that I am. And accept others, yeah, they're also ideal, but my man is with me because I'm ideal for him, I guess. And that's what it is. So you need to stop comparing yourself to others. Remember, you start comparing, you lost already. You will not fix it. If you think, oh, that girl has a small nose, let me reduce mine, you know, then you will reduce the nose, and then you will see a girl with the big butt, and you will like, okay, I need to fix mine a little bit, and then you will become this kind of weird thing that doesn't have no personality, because this person compares herself to everybody else around her. You see, I hope you understand this. I hope you feel it. Comparing to others will never do. So if you are looking at your man's Instagram, comparing yourself to women that he follows, that's it. That's a rabbit hole that will bring you nowhere but to failure. Like me, I don't follow. If you look on my Instagram, I don't follow men. I don't like. There's only a couple men that I follow, and those men, they're not my men. They're either my friends or, you know, somebody who I really know. And I really wouldn't waste my time on looking who is he following, who is he liking, like for what? I mean, I have a life too, you know, like why should I compare myself to other women? Why don't I spend this time looking at other men? I mean, that makes sense. So, but again, I feel very confident about myself and about where I'm standing. And if you don't feel like that, you will compare yourself to others. So no comparing. Comparing has to go. I hope I can convince you. Now, Another thing coming from there, people that make you jealous, who make you jealous, only help you to develop. They are basically opening a wound that needs to be cleaned and healed. Don't be mad with them. Don't be mad at another woman. Don't be mad at your man. Don't be mad at anybody around. Kind of have a neutral gratitude towards them, like, okay, yeah, thanks for showing me that. I guess I will work on that. Like me, sometimes I healed the jealousy part a while back, but sometimes it comes a little bit when I'm a little weak energetically. It comes and I'm like, I start doubting, and I'm like, okay, thank you for showing me that. Thank you for showing me that, and let me work on that. And like, for example, I will give you an example. I was in another country. Don't know who listens to me, so I'm not going to tell you which country. And I met a guy there, and I somewhat liked him. And we went on a few dates, and then so he was following me on Instagram, but I wasn't following him. And then I noticed that he doesn't look my story, so I don't usually like watch who is watching. But at that time it was kind of cold. It was raining for a week, and I haven't heard from him. So I'm like, let me see, is he following? So I saw he unfollowed me, and I was like, what? Doesn't happen to me like that. So in that moment, I got a little. I'm like, what happened? Did he found somebody better? Is it even possible? Now, you see why that happened? Because it was cold, it was raining for a week, I couldn't really go nowhere. I was stuck over there with the heater. I mean, I was just ordering food, I couldn't even go anywhere to buy anything. So I was weak, my energy was down because of the outside circumstances. I started feeling, because I was starting feeling weak, I basically, there was not much self-love going on. This jealousy crept in on me. What I did, I started giving myself more and more love. I started ordering healthier food, and he reappeared. And basically, when he's still in my life, he still texts me, even though there's nothing going on and nothing will be. So basically, don't be upset. Like, I could have instead write to him, hey, how dare you remove me from Instagram, you're not following me no more. Instead, I'm like, okay, I see what's going on, let me fix it. I took a revenge in a feminine way. If you didn't watch that video, please do watch it. You see, I fixed inside, so he come to me back outside. Now remember also that your man, because usually we feel jealousy mostly to men. Your man is not your mother and your father. He's not responsible for giving you love like your mom would. He's not responsible for giving you security like your father would. Now, if you're expecting either of those from him, you're putting a huge energetic burden on him, huge energetic pressure on him and the whole relationship. He feels it. He feels that you expect him to love you because you're miserable with your own life. He feels that you expect him to support you, and because you could not support yourself. He feels that, and he doesn't like it. Nobody wants to be used. I mean, that's logical. If somebody would like, I feel when a man is basically craving my attention because he needs energy. He just wants to grab some energy. I don't even want to socialize with those men because they're not offering me nothing. They're only leeches that are trying to grab something. You would be perceived as a leech too if you will expect something like that from a man. I'm telling you now, as much as it hurts, I was in your shoes, I know how it feels. I was like this too. I would be miserable, I would be unhappy, and I would just start writing man to get some kind of love, some kind of crumbs that he would bestow on me. And he would not. I mean, not only one guy but many guys, because nobody wants to feel this pressure on them. Now, a man in the beginning, he might go with that. So he likes you, he obviously has all these butterflies within him, he wants you, he wants to please you, so he will go along with that. He will basically, you will call him, hey, I need a hug, he will come, he will give you a hug. You'll be like, oh, you know what, I really feel like I don't know, I remember one time, long time ago, when I first came to United States, I was working in this place, and I felt like people were mean to me. So I told the guy I was dating, I said, these guys, they are so mean to me. So he came with his friends, and they like had this fight with them or whatever, I don't know. And I thought that it was such a sign of big love, that, you know, I was asking for security. Now next time I asked the guy to do it, he was like, listen, I can't fight your battles. In the beginning he did it because he was enamored by me, but then when I was kind of expecting from him, he didn't do it. That's maybe a little kind of childish example, but it's still a good example to show you that you could not expect a security from a man. A man will provide security on his terms if you have that standard in him. Now, and I even put here, yeah, so in the beginning he will do it, but after a while, if you will be expecting him all the time to give you love, to give you, you know, you will be just this burden on him that he wouldn't even want to be around. So he will distance himself, and you will just be even more jealous because those little things that he gave you are now taken away just by him. You will be looking for those imaginary enemies, but the enemy is really you. You are the one who is pushing him away. And I did it myself. I'm not telling that I'm perfect now. Well, at least in this aspect, but before I was not perfect at all. Now a man, if you will tell, well, Anastasia, you always tell that a man has to be a provider. Yes, he will be a provider and he will provide you security, but only if he feels this is your standard, you see. Now, and that standard you have to create within yourself. If you don't feel if you always lived on somebody's couch and now you demand the man to pay for your rent, I mean, that's kind of a weak game. This is not your standard. Your standard is sleeping on somebody's couch. So how you can, he knows that your standard is very low, and he will not provide the highest standard because he just doesn't feel energetically that you kind of deserve it. Now, if your standard is to stay in the 5-star hotels all over the world, and you will gladly do it for yourself, the man to stay next to you will have to do the same thing, like that. Understand it, please. Now, because don't expect from a man. Now, where are you going to get it? You need to give yourself the security and the love. Find out what it is for you. Usually it is both. In the majority of the time, the love of the mother is the biggest thing. So start with that. Now, just if you feel that security comes with money, you might be mistaken. As you know, I had a very secure corporate job. I mean, well, as secure as it could be. I used to live in New York. I lived in the same place for over 10 years. I had a very secure job. I mean, it seems like everything was really, really secure. And yet right now, traveling, I mean, changing places every month or so, and traveling, and I'm working for myself right now, so I technically don't know how much I will make every month. I feel so much more secure than when I had a steady place, a steady set of furniture. I mean, when I had a steady job, a steady income, I mean, the salary that I knew will be this much, the bonuses will be this much or approximately. And at that time, I felt less secure than I feel now. So security comes from the inside and not necessarily with something. It does not come with money. Give it to yourself somehow. Now, if this is your, if it's love, then give yourself love. Heal your inner child and fill yourself with self-love. Now, if you think that you need another person to give yourself love, you're mistaken. I thought that if I would be loved by a man, I would love myself so much. It was wrong. When I was somewhat loved by a man, I actually felt even more conscious, because I'm like, why is he loving me? I mean, am I even good enough for him to love me? Like, I mean, this is sad, but this is how I felt. So give yourself love prior to being with somebody. Now, why does it happen? Why do we feel jealousy? I mean, we feel jealousy when we're afraid that those crumbs that we're receiving will be taken away from us. Now, why does it happen? It's because the man is the source of that. He's the only source of something that is super important for us. So if it's love, he's the only source of giving you love. If it's security, you feel like he's the only source of the security. For example, you fell in love with the guy and he's like, you know what, why don't you move in with me? So you're moving in and it's far from your job, and he's like, you don't need to work. Now you don't have income, you don't have your own place, you basically dependent on him. Or maybe you guys had children and now you're stay-at-home mom. Again, it's not only you're responsible not only for yourself, you're responsible for children also. You could not just pick up and leave. I mean, you really have to have a lot of masculine energy to do that. So you understand that you're dependent on him. He feels it, so he acts accordingly. If he feels like he's this kind of superior right now because you feel threatened inside. Or for example, a man is insisted that you stop kind of hanging out with your with your crazy girlfriends, and now you don't have friends, you only have him, and suddenly you feel jealous because you're afraid he is the source of your happiness and everything. What if he will disappear right now? So usually we feel jealousy when there is a threat of what we have or will lose. That's why after you will heal yourself, your inner child, you heal your past with your parents, after you will give yourself the security and the love that you need inside, you're going to expand your life. Now you need to admit to yourself first. You need to admit what is it that you're afraid to lose. So for example, if you're with the guy like me, I will tell you what I was afraid. And I told you before, the guy that really cheated on me with another woman, there was like a couple of them. The first one, I was afraid that I will lose entertainment. He had a few restaurants, and I was afraid that if I will lose him, I will lose my access to these places, amazing places, and my entertainment. It was my entertainment for quite some time. So I really didn't care much for the guy. I cared for the entertainment that I will lose. Well, I mean, I did care a little bit for the guy, obviously, but this was the entertainment that I was afraid to lose. The second guy that cheated on me, I was afraid that I will lose the stability that was coming with him. That was my second husband, and it's not only that I would lose the stability, I also would lose kind of face in front of my relatives and my friends because they all knew that I got married. You see, you find what is it that you will lose. So what is it that you will lose? You will lose stability, or you will lose source of happiness, or you will lose good sex, maybe. I'm not sure. What is it that you are so afraid to lose? Once you will admit it, you would need to diversify your life to get it back to you. So for example, if you don't enjoy your life at all, unless you're with your man going somewhere out, you will need to find how you're going to diversify it. Maybe find new friends, maybe reach out to the old friends and tell them, hey, you want to have dinner today or something. Maybe if you're afraid to that you don't have any kind of source of income, maybe you will need to start working. So for example, the guy tells you, you know what, you don't need to work, I can support as boss. You can tell him, look, I really love it. I love that you're such a masculine man that takes responsibility for both of us. But you know what, let me do it. Let me just do this kind of on the side, just to keep myself busy. Who knows, maybe this keep myself busy will make you a millionaire in your own right. Or I don't know, play the lotto or do something, but diversify your life so you would not be afraid to lose that one thing that the man provides. Remember, jealousy is fighting for limited resources. Once you have a lot of those resources, you will not really you will not care that much for losing it. Now, if it's for example love, if you believe that nobody else will love you like this guy does, look, this is first of all not true. Second, you need to have admirers. I always tell you, even if you have a husband, if you've been married for 20 years, you have 3 kids, you still need to have admirers. You have to have admirers. You need to prove yourself that you will always have a man. This man or the other, you will always have a man if you decide to have, obviously. So is not to fight for limited resources. You need to have a lot of resources, and this is what it will be. Yeah. One thing I don't want to tell you, don't ask a man for love. This is something a man doesn't provide. A masculine man provides security. Masculine man doesn't provide love. So this is something you would need to cultivate inside of you. Work on your 4th chakra, work with your inner child, but self-love you would need to give yourself. Nothing can provide self-love. A man could not give you love. Remember, man gives security, woman give love. A man will expect love from you to him. So you could not. If your man is not very affectionate, if he is not very very loving, very pleasing. I mean, don't demand it from him, and don't think that he's just that he's in love with somebody else. He's just masculine. That's what it is. So this is one thing you could not expect from him. You need to give it to yourself. Now, with security, I mean, that's easy. He can, if you don't want to do nothing, you can tell your man that security is something that's important for you. Ask him to create the security within you. I have a couple friends who basically told their man that the security is important for them, and they created the security. For one, a man bought her 2 apartments, so she's renting them out and she's getting this income. This is her income. The apartments are on her name, so if something, she's basically set. With the other one, he just put a chunk of money on her account, and he adds a little bit every month, so she knows that she's, worst case scenario, she will be at least fine for some time. So it's not hard really with security. With love, though, you will need to work on it yourself. You can come to me, we will work together, but this is something you would need to create. You could not ask a man to hug you, to cuddle with you forever and ever, because you need this mother's love. Don't waste your time, don't waste his time. He will get tired, and he will to somebody who is happy. Yeah, I even put here, love is something you're responsible for. You cannot ask for a man to give it. Only if a man is feminine, then he will give you love, but he won't be able to give you security. So choose. If a man doesn't provide love, then he's probably masculine, and that's fine. If he's only, I only can give you love, you know, but I'm not really a rich man, okay, then he's feminine, and it's up to you. I mean, you can settle for only love, or you can see strengths in them and make him masculine. Yeah, and when you giving love yourself, remember, masculinity is very selfish, which is fine. That's normal for masculinity. That's why you need to kind of be a little selfish too. When you're like, oh my God, I do everything for my man. I mean, I left all my friends for my man. I stopped like participating in all of my sports and hobbies for my man, to spend time with my man. I mean, whose fault is that? You shouldn't have done this. I mean, this is just normal. You have to be somewhat selfish. Remember, if you are not selfish, if you do everything for your man, you will, at one point, you will become miserable. When you will become miserable, men don't like miserable people around. Nobody likes miserable people, but a feminine man and woman at least will tolerate somehow. Masculine man will not tolerate them. He will leave. So it's better you be selfish from the start and focus only on what makes you happy. So a man will be around a happy person all the time and will try to conquer that happy person again and again and again. But this is something you will have to work on yourself. With the security, you can ask your man to help you. With self-love, you will have to deal with it on your own. I mean, you can come to me or you can go to somebody else, but this is something you would need to create within you. So that's it. If you will do all this, you will get rid of jealousy. This is exactly what I did. This is what I did with a couple of my clients who were suffering with jealousy, and it really, really helped them. Did the jealousy come back again? Yes, it does. It does resurface because it's a pattern. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I've been jealous for, I think, last kind of like this attack of jealousy I experienced maybe when I was 34. I mean, for 34 years, I was a jealous person. I mean, it does resurface periodically, but I know how to deal with it. I know at that moment that, okay, so what are the resources that I'm fighting right now for? Let me give those resources for me. If it's because I think this man is so amazing, I will never have another one, I remind myself, well, let me look around. I think I have couple admirers who will give me, who will be maybe even better. Or if it's like really, really good intimacy, I mean, you can find that around too. If it's resources, like if a man is really, really, wealthy and generous, and you think that, oh my God, if I will lose this guy, then who is going to give me this many presents? There will be other ones. If you attracted this guy, you will attract the other ones. The world is full of wealthy men. And they becoming wealthy and wealthy every day. So don't you worry about that. But give yourself the security and the love, and the rest will come to you. I promise you. I was able to get rid. And if you you will be able to get rid of this feeling. You will be able to become more secure and and stronger in your beliefs, man will feel it and man will flock to you. Why? Because you don't have these insecurities. You see, jealousy is insecurity that comes from you fighting for those limited resources. Nobody loves insecure people. I mean, do you love men that are kind of that are constantly jealous? No. I mean, it flatters you, it flatters your ego, and he's like, where have you been? I called you. But really, at one point it becomes annoying. You do love confident people, and confident men love confident women. So that's like this. All right. So please do send this video to all the women that suffer from it. It's really this feeling needs to be healed. Otherwise, you will constantly have these situations where you will be jealous, where the jealousy will arise, and where you will be fighting yourself and others. So to sum it up, jealousy is a childhood wound. It happens when the child is small, doesn't receive what it needs. Usually a love from a mother and security from a father, some kind of security. Like I said, my parents were energy of air, so security is just they were very airy. My father, my mom is, so there was stability. I mean, we had a house, they had an income. I mean, we had this and this, but first of all, the country was falling apart. Second, they were a little, like, not very much secure into having maybe like large savings. Again, the country fell apart, so the savings whoever had savings would disappear. What I want to say is that it happened and it happened. You right now at this point, if you feel jealousy, you're fighting for some kind of resources that you were not given in when you were a child. It's up to you to heal them. And how you do that? You realize that you have a problem, that it's not a man who is the problem, it's you who is the problem. Man is just basically putting light on your problem that you need to heal. So what you need to do, you need to start with healing your inner child. Please do my meditation. Second one, you need to rewrite your childhood and prove yourself that your father gave you enough security and your mother gave you enough love. And you have enough, you always have enough. Remember not to compare yourself. Once you compare yourself, you're losing. So basically, if you need to avoid other women, or don't kind of poke into the information you don't need, you will never win. If you think, oh my God, let me just work a little bit on my body, a little bit here, a little bit there, and I will be perfect. Okay, there will be another perfect girl. I mean, for how long are you going to be like comparing yourself to others? So that's it. And remember, people help you to develop, so don't be upset with them. Be kind of neutrally thankful that they showed you this issue. Your man is not a mother and a father. He's not, you already have your parents. He's not supposed to be giving you neither love nor security. Security he will give you because that's his part, kind of. But he will give you if you have that as a standard, if you don't have it as a heavy expectation, you see. Now we're more focused on misfortunes, and we're more kind of trying to protect our limited resources when you don't have too much of those. If you have a lot of love inside of you, you don't mind to share it. If you don't have much love in you, you're basically very careful with who you're giving it and for what. So diversify your life, give yourself what you need, and kind of feel secure in your own skin and within yourself. Don't ask you can ask your man to help you with the security. Do not ask him for love, because love is something that a woman provides in the relationship, not vice versa. Unless a man is a feminine, then don't ask him for security. So either one or the other. And that's basically it. Once you will do all the steps, you will see how your energy become more saturated, stronger, and you will be more open to socialize with men, to build relationship with them. It will be a much easier, more enjoyable kind of process to be with the man. You will be focusing more on developing yourself with the man instead of fighting and protecting your space with the man. Remember, nobody can come into your aura, into your relationship with the man, unless you let them in. Remember how I told you, nobody can affect your energy unless you let them in. The same thing here. If you're focused on yourself, if you're focused on your energy, on your security, on your love, the man will want to be next to you, and he's not going to give you the reason. Others will not be able to kind of sneak in. You see, You can control a particular kind of man, but for how long you're going to be controlling him? I mean, if the more successful man you will have in your life, the harder it will be to control, and not every man will allow that. So work on yourself, fix yourself, and this issue will disappear from your life. I promise you. All right, that's it. Please do send it to anybody who needs to hear this. If you have questions, ask. Please do like a comment. I do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everybody, enjoy your day.